Okay.
Okay, it looks like we are live. Chair Bercuda,
I'm calling this meeting to order. Good.
there we are.
Alrighty. I'm calling the Public Safety Committee meeting of August 24th to order. Joe Janis, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Certainly. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the
to
United
the
States
States of America,
and to
to the
the
republic,
which is
stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Hey, Rob.
Ian, can you do the roll call for me? You're on mute, by the way. There you go.
Maybe next year I'll get it. All right, Subcommittee Member Leffler. I see Subcommittee Member Leffler with us. Subcommittee Member Walsh is not present. Vice Chair Janis.
Here.
Chair Bercuda.
Here.
And from our staff committee members, I see Captain Malat is with us. So there we go.
Good. Okay, I'll jump right in there. I'd like to handle our presentation at this point, and I want to introduce, in keeping with the committee's continuing theme of disaster preparedness, it's my pleasure to introduce Randy Harper. After 31 years and retiring as a battalion chief for Monterey Park Fire Department, charged with emergency and disaster planning, Randy Harper joined the Orange County Sheriff's Department Emergency Management Division. Currently, Randy holds the position of Assistant Emergency Manager and is tasked with responding to natural and man-made disasters which can affect the County of Orange. Randy, welcome.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you folks inviting me to come and chat with your group. So I was asked to give a little bit of a presentation on our EOC and also talk a little bit about the ICS system in general. And I realize that I'm probably preaching to the choir a little bit here in terms of the ICS, something that we've all kind of been dabbling in for quite a while now. So anyways, Adam, if we could go to my slide presentation.
Give me 1 second on that. I'm
Alrighty.
trying to pull that up right now.
So while we're waiting on that, I mean, it's been an adventurous year for the Emergency Management Division up here on the hill on Loma Ridge. A lot of our time, I guess, is spent kind of preparing plans and getting ready for, what we call the big one. And all of 2020 turned out to be kind of the big one. So in one respect, we were all quite challenged to deal with everything for longer than anybody kind of anticipated. But under the same circumstances, I feel like we as a team up here really got to hone in on our skills, which I feel will only kind of help us down the road in terms of preparing for future events and activating when necessary.
Okay, give me 1 second here to share screens. Oh my goodness. One or the other. There we go.
All right, there we go. All right, so again, just a presentation on emergency management and the operational area overview and kind of what we do up here at the EOC. Next slide. So the mission of the Orange County Sheriff's Department Emergency Management Division is to promote, facilitate, and support Orange County and the operational area efforts to prepare for and respond to and then recover from disasters. Next. So the 3 rules of disasters is not if one will happen, but when. That all disasters affect folks locally, and that there will be problems that were not anticipated in our prior planning. Next. What does the community expect from the Emergency Management Division? They expect us to help everyone. They expect us to be ready for everything. And they also expect us to help everywhere. And we all know the logistics of what it's capable to do, which is why we take an active role in trying to prepare the community to prepare for themselves. Next. Here's a list of a few of the hazards that we prepare for. There's 13 on this list, and just over 2020, we ended up dealing with at least 5 of these. We dealt with civil disturbance and riots. We obviously dealt with an epidemic and pandemic. Fires, we had 3 large fires, 2 at once, the Silverado, the bonfire, as well as the and I'm drawing a blank on the 3rd fire, but it was an active year for us, to say the least. We also had subsequent debris flow issues from those burn scar areas, and we were active for that. And then the last one that's highlighted there is high winds or PSPS situations, which are public safety power shutoff events that are imposed when the electric utility companies feel that there's a high risk for potential fire and caused by their equipment or something else in the area. And so they do a prescribed shutoff of power. That's kind of a newer situation for us. It's been happening for a while in other areas, but it's something that we work through with the power utilities fairly frequently now. Next slide. So what does the Emergency Management Division do? Well, we're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we are in constant contact with the operational area and the operation of emergency services through the region. We write and revise emergency plans and annexes. We ensure that the county operational area is in a constant state of readiness. We perform training. We also coordinate with the San Onofre Nuclear Generating Station. We are Orange County Emergency Management Organizers. So there's a group of quite a few representatives from the different jurisdictions here in Orange County, and we help facilitate a monthly meeting with that group. Next slide. We manage the grants, many of them for the operational area. We conduct exercises and drills, and fortunately, we had conducted a large-scale exercise just a month prior to the beginning of the COVID in March of 2020. We activate the EOC. We also help coordinate the Emergency Management Council's operational area executive board meetings, which happen quarterly. And we work with the Orange County Intelligence Assessment Center, or KIAC, in terms of understanding the situational awareness for the area and what potential terrorism activities might be occurring. Next slide. So I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with where we're at, but we're on top of Loma Ridge, overlooking the cities of Irvine and Tustin. Next slide. And here at our facility, we house the EOC as well as the Emergency Communications Bureau for the Sheriff's Department. Next slide. So what does our facility kind of look like? Next. So our facility was built in 1991. We're a little over 30,000 square feet in size. Our EOC is about 11,000 of that square feet, and then communications is about 19,000 square feet. Our facility is a class 4 safety code, so we're about 150% of what the code requires for earthquakes. We have a 30,000 gallon water tank for fire suppression up here, which is, helps you feel a little more at ease considering we have kind of wildland on all 4 sides of us. Up here, we have a full kitchen, stove, refrigerator, full cafeteria, and we have contracts for local vendors to come and help us facilitate and support the staff that might be up here during an activation. We have a fully cameraed facility inside as well as the perimeters. And then inside the facility, we have all the communications and monitoring availabilities in each room so that we can maintain situational awareness. And then we also have a helicopter pad for access. And there's even plans should, perhaps a large earthquake, something that limits our accessibility to the site. We could actually have important folks, VIPs, pivotal players in the process brought up here via air if need be. So we all operate under the National Incident Management System, or NIMS. And NIMS is to provide a consistent nationwide template to enable federal, state, tribal, local governments, the private sector, and non-government organizations to work together to prepare for, prevent, respond to, recover from, and mitigate the effects of incidents regardless of the cause, size, location, and complexity. Very simple, right? Next slide. So, I feel prideful in the fact that the birth of the Incident Command Center our Incident Command System really developed here in California. And it was first developed in the 1970s following a series of catastrophic fires here in Southern California in the urban interface. Because of those fires, a group was developed called FireScope, and it was developed with partner agencies. And FireScope stands for Firefighting Resources of Southern California, Organized for Potential Emergencies. Out of this group of meetings, 2 main topics evolved, or ideas evolved. And that was the Multi-Agency Coordination System, or MACS, and the Incident Command System, which is ICS. And that's kind of the umbrella system that we all operate under. Next. So what are the benefits of ICS? Well, it can manage most incidents locally. It uses a standard set of organizations, doctrines, and procedures. It's modular and scalable. It uses a common terminology. And it incorporates measurable objectives, and this is a very important concept. So what are the characteristics of ICS? Again, it uses that common terminology so that we can all use the same language. Back in the day when I got on the fire service, we were kind of using 10 codes like law, but then we were also using some local kind of terminology that may or may not really suit well to outside agencies. It's a modular organization. It's management by objectives. So you outline an objective of what you want to accomplish, and then all teams should be pulling in the same direction. There's a reliance on an incident action plan, and that action plan is going to be developed on an operational period basis. It could be 12-hour operational periods, it could be 24, it could be longer, but it gives us a set document in terms of what is going to be accomplished by who and what the time frame is. It's also a comprehensive resource management with mutual aid, having facilities and equipment, personnel coming from all over. It's a way of organizing and keeping track of what we have and what we need. It defines a chain of command, and it really defined what the span of control was. Typically, it's 7 to 8 people that you want answering to you. Anything more than that tends to get a little unruly and tends to be problematic. It also allows us to use unified command when needed. So if there's different professions involved, different disciplines, then we can go ahead and organize that together and still work in a unified and focused manner. Next. So it's also a complete accountability and management of resources. And this is not only maintaining situational awareness and safety for those people that are working in the system. It's also down the road looking at finances and being able to get reimbursement when necessary or applicable. But it's also a way of documenting the need for future activations. And then it's an information and intelligence management system. We try to always speak with one voice. That's not always easy to do nowadays with the social media impacts, I guess, or influences that we have. I think it used to be easier back in the day when we had less news agencies reporting that it was easier to get a singular message out. So this is a little bit of a challenge for us as well. So really, and I'm sure you folks are aware that ICS is what we used to always talk about as being an expandable toolbox. So it can be as small as the first responder that gets on scene. So this firefighter's arrived on scene. He has a fire extinguisher. He's got water. He's got a water supply. He can get to work. Next slide. So he is the IC. He's also safety and he's also operations. But we can expand that so it's a larger event requiring a unified command. And it can be multidisciplined. It can be the sheriff. It can be fire officials. It can be public government entities. It can really expand. This is just an example of the ICS chart where we would have the incident commander at the top. We would have the command staff, which is like public information officer, safety advisor, or liaison. And then we have the 4 general staff positions: section chiefs, operations, planning, logistics, and finance. Next slide. So here at the EOC and the operational area, we're structured under that, that format. At the top is the management or policy group, and these are really the decision makers for an activation. Typically, there would be a DES or a director of emergency services that would lead this group. And that position is going to be dictated on what the event is. If it's a fire event, it would be a fire personnel. If it's a law event, then it would be a law personnel. And then as part of their support staff, they have a liaison group, they have a safety group, they have PIOs, which are, again, sending out that individual single voice messaging. And then we have a security aspect because our facility is a secure facility. And then underneath that is the general staff positions. We have operations, and this tends to be the real boots on the ground. For example, if there's a fire, these are the folks that are going out, fighting fire, coming up with a strategy and addressing and trying to mitigate the problem. Next would be the planning intelligence group. And these are the folks that kind of drive the battle rhythm and give us that idea of putting the different meetings together so that we can develop that incident action plan. And then they also maintain who's working here at the EOC so that we can document and keep track of folks. The logistics section is, they're the folks that go and get the things for us. So here at the EOC, they would either be getting items or personnel that are needed to support the EOC's operations, or if something in the operational area was needed and they are not able to get it at the local jurisdiction, they could push it up to us in logistics, and then we could reach out perhaps to the state to get what those items are. So those are the getters of the organization. And then finally, we have the finance. Oh, We have finance and administration, and these are the folks that document what we're spending, who's here, what the costs are, and believe it or not, these are the folks that are going to be working their project long past the time that that we've already demobilized and gone home. And it's not uncommon for the finance sections to remain putting in for those vouchers and things for years and years down the road. Next slide. Just a few pictures on what it looks like up here at the EOC. To the left is our policy room, where we would have all the different decision makers located. On the right are our 2 liaison positions. And these folks are really the eyes and ears of the EOC. They're reaching out to the operational area partners to give them information on what's going on and what the situational awareness is, but they're also taking in information so that they can provide that to the decision makers and help with coming up with an operational plan. Next slide. This is a picture of our operations area. You notice that everything tends to be kind of color coordinated, and this is for a couple of reasons. Primarily, it's so that you know what section somebody is working with, and it helps us to be able to know who you need to go talk to. Really helps when you're in a face-to-face situation, knowing what the person, what their area of responsibility is, and how you can go about getting a hold of them. Next slide. And then this is our planning and intelligence section. Very busy section. They're the ones that kind of keep us going throughout the day. They have a planning agenda that continues, and right up from the stand-up of the operation, and then through a cyclical process with the eventual development of an incident action plan, so that we know what the current situation is, but then also what we're going to be doing in the next operational period. And these people really tend to be the rope pushers, if you will. They're really trying to get folks to stay on time, submit their information so that they can do in a timely manner, put a workable, organized plan together. Next. Again, this is the logistics section. We found that during COVID, it was kind of an interesting situation. We're getting a lot of requests from the different municipalities requesting basically the same things, which was, PPE and hand sanitizer, things like that. And the one interesting aspect of it was the whole world was kind of requesting the same thing. So it was just difficult for any movement for a while until we were able to fill a lot of those orders. Next section. Well, and in this picture, somebody pointed out to me that they hope that we've upgraded our computer system a little bit. And we have. This is an older picture, but finance, they're really very important in terms of just documenting what we're doing and what we have here in terms of resources and assets during an activation. And then they're also tracking and preparing for potential reimbursements from the state or federal level. Very important and often overlooked area. Next section. And then also up here at the EOC, we house a PIOs, and usually we'll have a Joint Information Center or JIC that's organized here. It'll have public information officers from multi-jurisdictions throughout the county that will come together and support a single voice messaging to the community. And we find that to be, very helpful in terms of eliminating any rumors or unnecessary concern that the citizens might have. We also house the hotline center up here. During the fires, that hotline center was a location where folks could reach out to find out what the road closures were. We've been using GIS to put up timely maps and steer folks towards those social media outlets where they can find that useful, timely information. During the vaccine efforts, our folks were answering calls about how people could, get a timely and appropriate appointment for the vaccines, and it was a very frustrating time. I think some of the heaviest phone trafficking that we've had was during that time, but the folks that we get are typically employees from the rest of the county family, and they did an outstanding job in terms of getting messaging to folks when it was requested. Next. So, the whole idea of emergencies and disasters here in the United States is there's a hierarchy of emergencies, and everything is intended to start at the field level. They would make requests to their local government. If those needs exceeded them, then they would go to the operational area, which the county is the coordinator for that operational area. If something exceeds our availabilities, we reach out to the region, Cal OES region, and then once it exceeds the region's abilities, then they would reach out to the state, Cal OES up in Sacramento, and then finally it would get to the federal government. So the idea is to handle things at as low a level as possible. Next. So the question is, when do we activate the EOC? So when a jurisdiction requests that we activate, so if something is happening in the city to the size that they just need our help, we can activate at that time. If the same thing happens in the county area, then the EOC would also activate. We also are mandated to activate when 2 or more cities or a city and the county have declared a declaration of an emergency, then we automatically open at that time. And what is the operational area? Next. So it's all political subdivisions within the county's geographic boundaries. And what are political subdivisions? And those can be counties, cities, school districts, special districts, which include water, sewer, sanitation, cemetery, and community services, and others. So the overall chronology of an event is first the event occurs. And then local dispatch is usually called to send whatever requested and appropriate resources are. When it gets larger, we're really fortunate here in Orange County. We have a position in the Communications Bureau known as Control One, and that's a countywide resource that can be used to help facilitate the activation of other county agencies. It also allows for the just constant situational awareness of other agencies outside the sheriff's to let them know kind of what's going on in the EOC. Next. They would then notify emergency management, and we would monitor the situation, refer to our plans that are prepared and ready to go, or we would activate based on the level of need. Next. We would notify the operational area and look for resources within that operational area. Next. And again, if that exceeds what we can handle, or just for situational awareness, we would notify the state and the OES region to let them know what's going on here in Orange County. Next. And then needing more resources, we would go to the state level and talk to Cal OES up in Sacramento. And then finally, we would, they would reach out to FEMA or the federal agencies and help us with that situation. So again, going from kind of local and then expanding to the larger sense. Are there any questions? Well, I appreciate again your asking me to share what we do up here at the EOC. It was a lot easier when I worked for the fire department, when my kids would say, what do you do for a living? Well, I jump on the red truck and I make people get out of my way, kind of thing, right? But when you talk about what you do here at the EOC, a lot of it is behind the curtain kind of thing, in terms of we're constantly preparing and trying to be ready for when that next incident occurs. And I think we do an excellent job of doing that and being ready for when the county and the residents need us. And again, I want to thank you for inviting me up to come and talk to you.
Well, thank you, Randy. Does the committee have any questions for Randy? Randy, I've got one, if I may.
Sure.
Let's say, you know, where your headquarters at is inundated and collapsed. What is the plan B for a control center?
Yeah, so we've actually got several plans. We've got dedicated facilities that we can relocate to. We also house what we call an EOC in a box. So all the equipment needed to stand up that type of facility. Some of it's located at John Wayne Airport. We actually, I think we kind of demonstrated our ability during the vaccination attempts. A lot of the electronic infrastructure that was initially used came from some of our resources here at the EOC. And so we were able to stand up and support the incident management team with some of the equipment that they needed. So, you know, we actually have plans in place that dictate what we're going to do should, you know, the plan B be needed. And I think that's one thing in emergency management is you try to be dynamic, flexible, and be ready to pivot when the need arises.
I concur on that. Well, thank you. Any other questions? Looks like, Joe, are you okay? You're muted, by the way.
Joe is having some technical difficulties. I've advised him to log out and then log back in.
Okay.
Still talking.
He's still talking.
Yes.
Nothing there. All right. Well, Randy, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us and giving us a briefing on what's going on in Orange County as far as the command system and the EOC. This is all part of our disaster preparedness mandate that we've got, and it is a good primer, and we can also refer back to it because it'll be on YouTube forever, I guess. So thank you so much. You can stick around if you like, or you can click off if you're busy and all right.
All right, I appreciate it, and I probably will sign off. I've got a few other things working on right now. So thanks again for having me.
Thank you. You're busy. Thank you. I appreciate it. Be seeing you.
Chair
Great.
Bercuda, just for record keeping purposes, I just want the record to reflect that Chief Capobianco joined the meeting at 3:10. We had the PowerPoint going, so that was not clear, but he joined the meeting at 3:10.
Great. So noted.
Hey, Adam, this is Rob Capobianco. I just want to make sure you guys can hear me.
Yes, your
Okay.
microphone actually looks like you're muted, but we can hear you. Oh, are you on your?
I'm on twice. I've got video on my phone and audio on my computer, so I'm not going to touch anything, and I'm going to work my way through it.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm back. I don't know what happened halfway through the presentation. I lost video. I could see you guys and hear you, but I couldn't unmute, and then I lost that also. So anyhow, I'm back. I did have a few questions for Randy, but I guess he's gone now. Is he work for the Sheriff's Department or Fire Department or the Fire Authority? Which one is it?
He went from the fire department and retired from that from Monterey Park City, and he is now with the Sheriff's Department.
Because they have OESN. Okay.
They have an emergency management division that handles all this stuff. So he went to work for them, and that's what he does. He does all that planning.
And on that note, Chair Bercuda, I will make the PowerPoint available to the committee members, and then I can put it on the city's website as well.
Oh, that'd be very helpful. It's a great resource. He He gave us some good primer on it. We always need to be reminded on those details because those are important ones. Even though we've all used it in the past, it's just continually drilling in our minds how this stuff works. Any other comments or questions? No? Well, let's go to the next item number 5, which is approval of the minutes of the public safety meeting of July 27th. That was all mailed out. It was in our packets. Any questions on any of the items on that one?
Move to approve the minutes.
Okay. Motion to approve. A second. Okay, Joe's going to second it. All in favor, raise your hand. Joe, there you go. Okay. Adam, so noted?
So noted. Thank you.
Nick, I have a question. Weren't we supposed to have another member on the committee?
The other member contacted me this morning and said he had a family emergency and he had to fly to Houston.
Oh, okay.
He thought he'd join us. But,
Mr. Chairman, our other member hasn't even been sworn in yet, so he wouldn't be eligible for this meeting anyway.
And also, is Gary still on the committee?
well, that's who I was referring to because
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, Gary is in Houston right now, moving his family or moving a family member. He wasn't available. That's why if Gary was here, I would not be here for this meeting, but I wanted to make it so your presenter could do his presentation.
Okay, and the newest member, he hasn't been sworn in yet. Is that the deal?
Matter of fact, all the members, I don't know if you guys got the email. Everybody's supposed to be sworn in on Thursday, all the committees at a luncheon on Thursday. I think they sent out an email.
Rick, will you be there?
I'm going to be right here in Maui.
Gotcha.
I won't be there either.
Oh, darn. Well, we can do what we can on that. Any comments, Adam?
No, just that if any members are not at the swearing in on Thursday, we will have another opportunity to swear them in before the first meeting with the new termed committee members, which would be the 4th Thursday of September at 3 p.m.
Got it. Okay, we'll make sure we're all together on that one.
And Chairmember Cute, if I could just add, I'm starting to run low on battery. So if we could, anything that anybody needs to say or get out, if they could expedite it, because once my battery dies, I know Adam has to end the meeting. So if we could speed through whatever you need to.
Well, thank you for the prompting. There's one item that I'd like to run through is a thank you to Gary Walsh, our outgoing member. I'd like to read a little thank you. And it's on behalf of the Public Safety Committee and staff. We commend you for your volunteer dedication to the community and citizens of San Clemente. As one of our founding members, you helped to carry out the committee's established goal of enhancing the quality of life in San Clemente by evaluating the safety and security needs of the community. Having extensive experience as a veteran professional law enforcement and fire service officer, in retirement, you answered the call to benefit the community as a technical expert and volunteer. Your personal efforts as an active member of the city's joint homeless subcommittee and your work to identify and evaluate proposed public safety legislation has been commendable. As your committee term has ended, we wish you well and again applaud your personal and selfless contributions during the past 18 months to the greater community of San Clemente as a member of the Public Safety Committee. And we will present him with a written copy of that. And that's our thank you publicly to Gary Walsh for his participation in our committee.
Well done.
Thank you. Okay. We'll go as far as we can with your battery there, Rick. All right. Anything on the homeless project update? Because I know that's ending also.
Chair Bercuda, we skipped over the oral and written communications, and um, just for due process, I want to announce that we did not receive any written communications for this meeting.
Got it. Perfect. Okay. Anything on the homeless project update? Rick?
Since Gary isn't here, I'll just mention that the fact is that the homeless component of committees has been handed back to the Human Affairs Committee, and they will be dealing with whatever homeless issues that the City Council deems necessary. I want to again say that Carly Hunter, our homeless outreach employee, is doing a fantastic job and has certainly, I know in a lot of people's minds, taken a lot of the emphasis off of committees, since we have somebody that's actually out there doing it hands-on. So I know that's in good hands. And I'm looking forward to hearing what the human affairs component is and what their work plan entails. So for us, as far as the public safety component, we can sign ours off for now, unless we're asked to jump in by the Human Affairs Committee. They could ask our input on any issue that they want to, including homeless. So we will see. Well, there will probably be some homeless issues in the future we will be addressing.
Perfect. Okay. And we stand ready to help out the city council any way we possibly can. Thank you. Any reviews or recommendations that we've got going at all? None here. Okay. Any new business that we have to attend to? Not at this point. Okay. I'm working on our next presentation for next month on the disaster preparedness stuff, and we're going to be targeting the county health department at this point. More on that as we calendar that. Legislative review project, that's on hold. We lost our member who was handling that. Neighborhood watch project. Joe, do you have anything on that? You're on mute.
Yeah, just a few quick things. We met with Ziad, and what a ton of help he was. He kind of taught us we don't have to reinvent the wheel. He gave us some stuff from Laguna Niguel and Rancho Santa Margarita and a few other places. He's got the mapping pretty well down for us. So Rick and I will be meeting probably this next month and talking about the new webpage and how we want to address neighborhood watch on that. We also met with Captain Benfield. Real impressed, no doubt about that. And I guess the crime prevention specialist has been out on leave for a bit. She's supposed to be back in September, I think. And we'll be meeting with her again to find out what kind of help we'll be getting on the program there. So I'll keep that short.
Anything from Rick on the neighborhood watch at all?
No, Joe covered it all very explicitly. So when I get back, we'll get together with Joe. We'll get this thing back pumping again.
Perfect. Good job. Okay. Let's go over reports from the committee. Fire service. Rob.
All right, just to make sure you can still hear me.
Got it.
So a couple updates from us. Fires up north continue to rage on. Another historic fire season is being experienced up there. As normal, fire departments from Southern California through mutual aid system share resources up north this time of year, with the thought that Southern California's fire season is a little bit later, with September, October, November, if we get our Santa Ana wind season. That being said, the weather's cooperating down here. We've been able to send some resources up north in the incident management piece and overhead piece, as well as we do have a strike team of Type 1 engines. So those are the type of engines that you see around San Clemente. A lot of times we use them for structure protection when it comes to a wildland fire. So we do have a single strike team up north. We are looking to see if we can extend a little bit more. Once again, it's very clear with our organization, our dirt comes first, and we need to continually balance the staffing needs here, as well as the fire potential and fire weather that we have here in Southern California before we commit resources up north. The only other piece to that is our large helitanker that is on contract with Colson and through Southern California Edison, the large helicopter that you've seen in the news quite a bit. There's three of them, one in Ventura, one in LA County, and one station here in Orange County. All three of those airships are up north trying to help with the efforts. They have been actually dropping the fire retardant, that pink fire retardant. They've been doing night drops of that, which is kind of a first in the aviation world from the helicopters for night drops. So they are engaged up north once again on a short leash, so that if something changes down here, our weather changes, we can get them back, because once again, our dirt comes first. So that's the big challenge we're having right now. Like everywhere else, we're being challenged with our staffing with some COVID numbers that are slowly on the rise. And once again, that's just a challenge to make sure that our constant manning throughout all of our cities is intact. We have not been browning out any fire stations or closing any fire stations, so our staffing is doing good, and we're managing, and we're working through that. That's really all I have for my monthly report. I'm available for any questions if you have anything.
Any questions for the chief? Seeing none, well, let's go to marine safety. Rod?
Oh, good afternoon, everybody, and sorry I've missed the last couple of meetings. Summer's wrapping up for us. As you know, the CUSC and Saddleback Unified School District went back to school on August 17th, so we've decreased our staffing levels down to just one tower during the week right now, and weekends, so full summer staffing. We'll continue full summer staffing on weekends through Labor Day and then scale down. It was great that this summer we had junior lifeguard program, and we served over close to 800 kids, 6 different sessions. So that was a big success for the community and the kids, and it's great to have them back on the beach. As far as activity down here, we averaged over the summer about 17 rescues a day. Total rescues for the summer to date right now for the year is just over 1,600 rescues with no drownings, prevents over 23,000 public ed contacts, over 31,837 first aids, and over 13,000 law enforcement contacts. Recently, I would like to thank Adam and his team, Carly, the homeless outreach, and the park rangers coming down and giving our staff some training with the homeless. Also, we had OCSD down a couple of weeks ago to give some law enforcement training to our staff. Just like as Rob mentioned, we've been kind of dealing with the COVID staff issues with quarantining or close contact or testing positive. So it's been a balancing act trying to fill all the shifts that we have. In fact, we had a JG lifeguard surf contest that we had to cancel because it took 9 lifeguards to be in that contest, and in order to staff the beach properly, we had to cancel that. And so the outlook as far as running that in September, October is not looking good, because a lot of kids are back in school or back in college or have moved on. So right now, like I said, we scaled down. Typically we have 14 towers open during the summertime. Right now, we just have the Pier Tower, which is open year-round from 8 o'clock till sunset, and we're closing at 8. We just switched from 8:30 to 8. So I'll keep it short, since I know Rick's battery's almost done. If anyone has any questions, thanks again, and happy to answer any questions.
Great. Wonderful. Any questions for Rod? No? Just a side note, I was in communications with our chief of police, Benfield, and he's unable to attend because of illness. And his second in command, it just got swamped, so they were unable to attend today. Okay, I have no other committee chair information other than getting sworn in on Thursday. So make sure everybody is available for that. Committee members, Rick, do you have anything to add?
Just that, we're going to be starting our new session of public safety. And this time I would suggest, and I've already talked to most of the council members about getting some more insight from them about how they see our work plan working. So we're not just writing up a bunch of things that they're not interested in. And the other is that Eric Sund has, and I think he's mentioned this to Adam, we're going to have a little bit more direct or able to directly contact the city council if something comes up regarding public safety that we believe should be addressed, or at least the city council should be made aware of it. We'll have a more casual way of submitting a memo to them of just, hey, this is happening, you might want to look at this, which I think is going to facilitate our committee a little bit better also. So we'll see how that all comes together, when our new session starts. But I'm looking forward to it, and I think we'll have a very effective, even a more effective committee than we had this last session.
Very good, very good. Joe, do you have anything? Nope. Okay, good. City staff.
Yes, I've got two items. As committee member Leffler had mentioned, the annual work plan is typically due to the city council by October. The delay in the terms beginning for this next year puts us a little bit behind. I think we can buy a little bit of leeway, but just for efficiency's sake, it would be nice to get cracking on that. So my intention is to send the last year's work plan and some related materials to the committee members ahead of time, a few weeks ahead of time of the next meeting, and have people, be able to spend some time thinking about it. I'll put an item on the agenda to discuss the next year's work plan specifically, so that if there are some ideas that the committee wants to start moving on, we can take care of it at the next meeting, which would be the first meeting for our new committee member. And then just an update. So I've accepted a new position as the Deputy Community Development Director, and I just want to give everybody an update on what that entails. My oversight of the Code Compliance Division, which includes the Park Ranger Program and the Community Outreach Worker, that continues. I am still overseeing all of those functions. As the Deputy Director, I'm also the acting city planner, and so I've also taken over supervising the planning division of the Community Development Department. So we have some vacancies in the city that we need to fill, which will help spread some of the supervisory duties. But if there are any issues related to code compliance or the planning division, please contact me and I can assist. And that is all I have.
Sounds like you don't do utilities, but you have everything else.
Well, there's a lot more in the city than utilities, but yes, the sentiment remains the same.
So, congratulations, Adam. Whose spot are you filling?
This was a new position created after during the last budget cycle. So typically there would be a city planner who is the manager of the planning division, and that position was vacated last fiscal year, earlier this calendar year. And so the decision was made to have one manager oversee planning and community development, and then we'll have some lower level supervisory staff within each of those divisions to assist.
Great. Anything else for the cause? Okay, then I move to adjourn our regular meeting of the Public Safety Committee to be held on Tuesday, September 28th, 2021 at 3 p.m. via
Second,
conference. You good?
second.
Okay, all in favor? Yay!
Dar.
How's that? And we made it with, got the battery in there too. I appreciate it.
And I'm getting my warning is coming right now, so I'm clicking off here.
Boy,
All
you're
right.
good.
Thank
Okay,
you, everybody.
thank you.
Thanks.